In Funeral Kings, two altar boys decide to play hooky after serving at a series of funerals.
Semi-automatic.
Come on, dude, I look old. How old do I look?
I don't know, 14?
Yeah, but how old could I be? 14. You look like you're 14. I look older than you.
Do this for my city, dope. Doodles what I step in. Kicking shit phenomenal. Man, I swear this feel like straight aggravated.
Come on, one's enough.
Feeling like a felon.
One?
Might lose my right to
I'm gonna make this one count. Dude, this kid's gonna kill you.
You know how much I knew about Funeral Kings when I saw it at the 2012 South by Southwest Film Festival? Nothing. Except for the tiny little one-line plot synopsis similar to what I said at the start of this review. That was enough to get me in the seat, and it is one of the best decisions that I've made in a long time. Not just this year, but in a long time, because Funeral Kings is just phenomenal. I loved it so much, to the point where I've actually been kind of afraid to do this review because I don't think that my words can do it justice. Not only is this movie side-splittingly hilarious, but it's actually got a lot more to it. There's some interesting sort of questions that arise, and it goes deeper than you might expect. The acting is fantastic, the cinematography is great, and the music, oh my god, the music is so good. So let's get a little more in-depth with Funeral Kings, starting off with the plot and the writing, and as far as the plot goes, I thought that it was very interesting. Like I said, not only is the movie funny, but it's actually got a lot more to it, and I won't, give anything away of what happens, but there's some sort of moral issues that come up that these kids have to face, and they're just kids. So when they're faced with any sort of dilemma, maybe that is something an adult might have to deal with more often than a kid, it's just interesting to see how they react. And so I thought all of that aspect was really interesting, but beyond that, of course, the movie is also very, very funny, and the writing is great. The writing is sharp, the writing is clever, and I really was dying in my seat. I was cracking up the whole time. It kind of reminded me of Superbad because you've got this group of friends who's kind of just trying to be cool, but, maybe they're not that cool. They go to a party, they're trying to just be, on the scene, but the twist here, of course, is that they are very young kids, but they're just as raunchy. Well, maybe not. Actually, were they? I don't know. They might have been just as raunchy. And I think that that was hilarious. And of course, that's also to do with the acting, but, assuming that because it's kids, they weren't ad-libbing as much and it was more in the writing, I mean, it was great, and it was fearless, and I absolutely loved it. As far as the directing goes, I thought the whole thing was put together so well, and it was very confident. It knew exactly what it was doing. It did not falter, and I feel like with something like this, you could go that route because you've got young kids doing sort of, not doing adult things, but just we're seeing kids cursing and just being little assholes sometimes. And you could, I feel like, hold back in some ways, but it didn't feel like they were holding back at all. And that really, really elevated this movie to another level of comedy and also another level of, like I said, just being interesting in general, showing what kids might do when faced with situations that are potentially beyond their control. I like the cinematography a lot, and I thought it went very well with the music, or the music went well with the cinematography, whatever you want to say. They complemented each other very well. But yeah, I definitely loved the music. I thought it fit the vibe of the movie very well, fit the tone of the movie well, and it really enhanced it. I mean, it really was a big part of why the movie was so cool. It wasn't just funny, it was really cool too. I actually felt like I wanted to hang out with these kids and go on adventures with them. That's how cool this movie was. Not only was it hilarious, but it was cool, and that's definitely also due in part to the acting, which was just amazing. These kids blew me away. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing any names wrong, but Dylan Hardigan, Alex Mazes, Jordan Puzo, and Charles O'Day, all of them were fantastic. They were hilarious, they were confident, and they showed a lot of depth. Not only were they funny, but you really felt for these kids because as funny as they were, and as, cool as they thought they were maybe, they're kids, and they really portrayed that very, very well. Kind of the vulnerability of, they are under the mask of being kids, so if they get in trouble, they're just kids, but still a little bit kind of concerned. I don't know. They did a really great job being realistic, and I do think that they were so natural. They felt like they were just real kids, like you were watching real kids just hanging out, and so, yeah, I gotta say, they did a lot better than a lot of adult actors I've seen in movies in a while. So, yeah, they really deserve a lot of praise. And not to say that the movie wasn't great overall, but they are definitely a huge reason why this movie was so great. I absolutely loved the concept of the little actor kid character. I thought that it was brilliant. I thought it was hilarious, but also very unique and actually kind of interesting. And as great as the kids were, there were other people in the movie, of course. I thought everybody did a great job, but I do want to specifically point out Kevin Corrigan, who I'm a big fan of in general, and I think his sense of humor was perfect for this movie. He had me crying laughing. All of them had me crying laughing. The whole movie did. And overall, I think I've made it pretty clear that I think I kind of liked this movie. I loved it so much. Definitely one of my favorites of the year. I can't wait to watch it again. I can't wait to share it with everyone I know. This is the type of movie that I need to show everybody. I know everybody will love it. Hilarious, interesting, and just overall so cool. Be it for the music or the kids, I don't know. The whole thing was just really cool, and I wish I could have been in it. I wish I could just hang out with these kids. But let me know in the comments what you thought of Funeral Kings. Let me know what you were expecting going in, if you had any expectations at all. Let me know what you thought of the kids, what you thought of the cast in general, but definitely what you thought of the kids. Do you think that they deserve as much praise as I think they do, or do you think they were just okay? Let me know. Let me know what you thought of the fact that there was more than just comedy in the movie. There were actually interesting bits, like I said, where the kids are kind of faced with different issues. But please put a spoiler tag in your comments so you don't ruin it for anybody else if you're going to talk about any of that stuff. Let me know anything that you want about Funeral Kings. I loved this movie. And that's pretty much it.
Real rap raw, I'm a human black card. Charge a nigga if he talking slick at the local bar. Not the best role model, never said I was. Usually chillin', but somebody always mess it up. I got an anger management problem. Why you think my girl left? I ain't figured out the proper way to deal with girls yet. And these niggas be yapping like I'ma let this shit happen. I never been into trapping, but ratty niggas I'm slapping.